For us, the wretched of the earth, what magic potion is there to heal us from the traumas of our living past?
For me, the psychology that I'm coming back to want to practice, to write about, and writing is a big part of it that you want to spread, is the psychology that intervenes at that level. We have multiple traumas, chronic multiple traumas. This book here, it's this is Fanon, right? This is Fanon. So Fanon has influenced the book that I wrote, this book. The world looks like this. I do mention him, but in many other ways. But I was mentioning a book like this, Community Psychology. One of the editors here is my colleague. But I also have a chapter in this on precisely what I'm talking about, this new psychology that we're trying to build. We're calling it, you might see this, we're calling it African-centered community psychology. So we have taken the community, but infused it with African-centeredness. That's what we do.
You know, the colonial masters came with a lot of things. They came with religion. They came with, like I said, development. Now, they left long time ago. Now we have our independence. You could see traces of what the colonial masters did, the roads they built. But I think the handover wasn't properly done. We still have this mentality of we wanting to them. It pains my heart when I see our government going to maybe Europe or America for medical treatment, going to India. I ask myself, what have we been doing 60 years of independence? What have we been doing?
The native has always known that he need expect nothing from the other side. The settler's work is to make even dreams of liberty impossible for the native. The native's work is to imagine all possible methods for destroying the settler.
Can Western psychology find ways and means to heal black trauma that is caused by colonial experiences? Who among us will find ways and means of healing that will collectively heal our people? Is it the academic? Is it the community? Is it the individual?
So let me go back right there. Fanon was one of the earliest people where you find resources. Why? Fanon at some point was a psychiatrist, right? And realized this is not working. This is, unless you fix the colonial condition, you will not be able to help the Algerians and then the Tunisians and the Ghanaians and all in the colonized situation. So basically he saw this in the 40s and the 50s, and Fanon saw that, oh wow, okay. Basically I have to, all the pathologies within societies, specifically within black life.
So now we don't know our history. We don't even know who we are. We are losing our identity. And it starts with language. Just make them change their language. Okay? That is where it starts. That's why I said, we can't trust our history without our language. Just stop speaking your language little by little. It's not going to be feasible. But before you know it, you've lost everything. So I think we should teach our history. We should know, if somebody is an activist, find out exactly what happened. Why is this person an activist? What was he looking for? Why was he fighting? Is there something? Because if you're an activist, that means there's something very precious you're fighting for. Is it that it was stolen, or it was forcefully collected from you and you want to get it back? Find out. Don't just judge them. And by the time you find out, number one, you'll be able to know exactly what has happened and why those things happen.
Will it ever then be possible for us to find and devise ways that will heal our collective trauma without us looking back to Western psychology?
Oh, who is that? Tell me who it is. David. Is that David? I think it is David. That is Carson. Are you handsome today? No. You're not? I think you are. I think Carson's very handsome today.
People used to say there's no worth or value when it comes to black and colored people. So we inherit that thought. If you, as a teacher, tell a child, you will never amount to anything, you will never succeed in life, you start believing that.
What are we teaching our students? Are we really teaching them to take over? Are we teaching them to work, or are we just teaching them to sit in offices doing nothing? So these are some of the things I really think the whites, yes, they did well, but we have not moved a step ahead of where they stopped.
Apartheid had a major impact on the black trauma because ever since that apartheid era, the black people were channeled to think they were channeled to think a certain way about certain people. Then after that, you pass down that mindset from generation to generation, that even the present generation will still think that way, that okay, from my tradition or from history, I am not allowed to associate myself with people who are of different skin color.
But at the age of 3 years, I came here to my grandmother. I didn't know this woman. I knew my paternal grandparents as a princess. But when I came here, I became a child where I have to start all over again. And now I was traumatized with this grandmother that I don't know. Living here in this house, the trauma, the mere fact that as a child, when other children are happy, I don't have happiness because I had to adjust. There were times when there was no food. There were times when there were strange people coming in. There were times when I didn't feel secure. And I kept on asking myself, why did I leave my home?
Yeah. Well, why would Jesus single you out?
Because I'm a chosen child. He told me this morning. He said, you're a chosen child. You must work in the hospital and the jail.
And now you're here, right?
I'm here.
You
I can do all kinds of work here. Good work. Only good work can I do here because this is my place.
Yeah, but how about yourself?
I'm going to help myself. See, they're going to give me treatment here.
They are?
Pills. They've started giving me pills since yesterday.
Uh-huh. Oh, they did, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Do you need treatment?
Certainly.
As I said, there are some disorders that as black people, when we see them, we just say, no, it's witchcraft. The ancestors are punishing this person because he or she was not obedient. But then we come to find out that those disorders have a way that people can manage to live with them. But then it is very much important that as black people, we start to learn those disorders because not everything that we experience in life is witchcraft. You can find out that I can develop disorder from eating certain food. Then they will say, no, the ancestors are punishing you, you have a calling and everything like that. Whereas that is not the case. I just need medical attention using Western cultures.
And I think that also older generations, in terms of traditions, they some sort of actions and things like that, even though it's tradition, they don't work in the modern society because the times have changed. And therefore, when they bring up their children, they must be aware of this and say, this is how we used to do it, but we know that we're aware that things have changed and we accept that instead of ostracizing the modern generation, because that would also often lead to a breakdown of communication between parents and children, and then it goes back to violence, gender-based violence, abuse, and all of that kind of stuff, psychology, all of that. I mean, nowadays they encourage talking about mental illnesses and stuff like that in every home. That should be addressed.
From a nice home where they have a father and a mother, they became young women, they went to school, and they became qualified people. But because of color, racism, and because of the environment at that time, they are being forcibly removed. You know, we as children, we migrate, we learn, we go to school. So they have gone to school, and I came here as a young person, and I was traumatized with the fact that I'm with this old woman. But this old woman is completely different from my paternal grandmother, because she's monitored 24/7 by the police, the special branch, and I'm wondering, has she killed a person? Is she also gonna kill me?
What about the mothers and the fathers who have given birth to generations of tortured children and grandchildren? And what about those who were dispossessed of their lands? Those who were stolen from the land to which they belong? What about the land to which our souls belong? What about the land from which we were stolen?
When people go back to the land, they're not only going back because they want to be restituted for something that was stolen from them, but also because they have a connection, a social, psychological connection with the land, right? With the, if you're giving people houses, you're grounding them in a place. You're giving them a certain permanency, and that is related to how then they feel. And of course, if you give them good housing, you don't give them a two-room house where you give them good housing. You give them a street, you plant trees. You are giving them a certain sense then of being, this is my place. Nobody's gonna chase me out of this.
But how can Western psychology analyze the lives of black folk? Can Western psychology be part of healing a collective trauma that was caused by colonialism?
Cecil Rhodes, the great empire builder, was born 100 years ago. He lies buried in the Matopo Hills in the Rhodesias, which are named after him. This was the country which he brought under the British Crown and formed into a British colony.
Soul in Greek is psyche, in Latin anima. But you can't really own the land. But capitalism has done this. Colonization of the land and capitalism have done this, that we start to believe that I own the land.
First of all, I have 5. I call it a set of sisters, but differently. Number 1 is language. It's very important. Language. Number 2, arts. Number 3, culture. Number 4, heritage. Number 5, our history. Now, you can trace it anywhere. There are like 5 sisters, okay? You have language, like you speak your language, I speak mine. Or we have a connecting point, which is English, okay? Now, gradually, most Africans are losing their languages, their dialects, because of colonization also, because they came with their language and we changed to what they speak so that we're able to communicate. Gradually, we are losing touch. We are losing our history. We are losing our personality. We are losing our heritage. We are losing our arts, our culture to this modern culture. It is very, very important to know where we are coming from.
Dominic Berger, you believe in apartheid as a way of life?
Yes, I do.
Why?
In South Africa.
Why is that, sir?
Because the race, which is in a lesser state of development, is by far in the majority here. And numerically, of course, they are much stronger. And because also I believe that it is according to God's will that the white race, which is in the majority in this country, should be preserved. And also everything we have done in the last 300 years and built up in the church and in the state should be preserved and not be swallowed up by an, I wouldn't say inferior race, because I don't believe it is an inferior race, but a lesser a race which is in a lesser state of development, that's all.
Colonialism, apartheid, the migration system that was enforced on our people, that one is one of the greatest factors that causes father absence. So, and we have all that results through research, even statistics, prove that now. For example, the father is no more in Potchefstroom, he's working now in Johannesburg. Now, when it comes to the social component dimension, he met some other people, he settled there, and somehow it happened that the family is left behind.
Fathers are very important in a home. Fathers, okay? In as much as the mother will shout, do all those stuff, but let the father come. Like my children, they can't touch my husband's phone. We use the same phone, okay? The same brand. They don't touch his phone. I will do all this shouting, they will carry my phone. So there's something about fathers. Ask them, where are they? They don't care about what is happening in the home. And the children are going haywire. I've been around in South Africa for some time. I've noticed that children don't care. They're allowed to grow. And I'm asking myself, where is the home front? Where are the fathers? So please, I want to use this medium to beg our fathers, in as much as they want to make money, we still need them around for the proper upbringing of the children.
Is there some sort of genetic memory of the pain that still haunts us today? And does this genetic memory cause all the present psychosis, the rage that is swelling within our exploding chests?
Can we give psychological empowerment, therapeutic tools, healing tools? Let's call them healing tools. When I say psychotherapeutic, people think I'm talking about psychotherapy, but healing in a broader sense that helps the mind to deal with adversity, to get strong. And so when somebody's angering you, when somebody's bringing their own trauma, and over time you start to realize, right? You start to realize somebody is doing something, that this is not about you. It's not about you. This is not about me. And especially if we have tried to bomb them with kindness. If you don't have these resources to deal with the feelings of being hurt, aggression, that's the rage, you end up killing the very people who are supposed to support you. And this would be your family. These are your children. These are people in the neighborhood. So you're taking out the hurt that you feel out on them.